2024 was a year full of stories, characters, and adventures. But what did it really look like? Let's flip through my reading journal and explore the stats page where the magic of numbers meets a dark academia vibe. Hey fam, it's Icy of Icy Studio, and today I will be updating my 2024 reading journal one last time. So this B5 notebook is from the Archer and Olive September 2023 subscription box, and what I love about using this notebook is that I've seen a lot of people use this for their reading journals. It is just so nice, cozy, and bookish. I have used this since 2023, which was a huge jump from using a B5 notebook in 2022, but I like the upgrade in size because there's just so much space to be creative. I have been so obsessed with drawing shelves, and I have been in a witchy, dark academia vibe since. My reading goal last year was to read 24 books, and I will now fill this journal spread with covers of the books I have read. I was actually planning on using my HP Sprocket to print book covers, but I can no longer find any printing paper, which is an absolute bummer as I love printing photos for my journal. So instead, I will be using my inkjet printer, and this is the process I did to print my book covers. First of all, I did the daunting task of taking screenshots of the book covers and combined all of them in one document on Canva. So after printing the document, I cut the book covers and I shall put the first 24 books I've read in chronological order, and I rely heavily on Goodreads for that. Okay, that was such a satisfying process and I am very happy with the result. Except for the fact that I have forgotten to print one book cover, which also happens to be my most favorite read of 2024. Why, self, why? Because I have read 40 books this year, I will be sticking the remaining book covers after my stats page. Anyway, do you see any books we have in common? Last year, I had this spread where I was supposed to write new words I've encountered along with their meanings, but I couldn't keep up. I usually read in bed and I'm too lazy to grab a pen and constantly write words down, so I decided to stop doing this. So anyway, here is a flip through of my book review spreads. I generally love being creative with my journals, and for my book review spreads, I like decorating the pages with stationery, using colors and hand lettering that match the vibe of the books. I also love keeping a record of my favorite quotes and writing them in calligraphy. And I usually have so many things to say about the books that I read, so on average, I use around 2 pages per book. But there are times when I absolutely love a certain book that I use, double the amount of pages. But there are also times when I combine meh books in a page or two because I don't have anything more to say. I also went through a creative slump this year and I ended up having a backlog of 20 plus books in November. So you might find that there are book review spreads that are low energy and less decorated than others. I am interested in hearing how you do your book review pages. Do you follow a layout or do you like doing different things for every spread? Also, I am not very generous with my ratings, mainly because I reserve the 4 and 5 stars for books that absolutely blow my mind and make me forget that I have a life outside the pages. And I don't really follow a rating system other than my feelings, so this is mainly because I can't be bothered categorizing the different aspects of the books. What about you? Do you follow a rating system? So anyway, I will leave you to watch the rest of the flip through in peace, and I'll meet you at the stats page. So here is my 2024 reading stats page. Initially, I wasn't sure how or where to put all the numbers, so I decided to draw frames and shelves and write the stats there. And as for the categories, I referred to Goodreads and ChatGPT on the things to include. I surpassed my reading goal of 24 and read 40 books this year, so I set the bar very low so I can exceed it every time. And I think I read less than 15,023 pages because of DNF things, but I'm too lazy to do the math, so yeah. And the average rating I gave these books was 3.4, which is not bad under my standards. And for my top 3 books, so number 1 is The Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab ranked 2nd, and the 3rd place goes to the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. My longest read was Empire of the Vampire, which was a staggering 729 pages, which I devoured in a week and a half. My shortest read was Galatea, which was 20-something pages. Genre-wise, I read a whole lot of fantasy, some horror, and a tiny bit of nonfiction and 1 classical book. And this is a graph of how many books I read per month, which ranged from 2 to 5 books. Alright, so for the most disappointing book, drumroll please, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Loved Ninth House, Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, so I had high hopes for this. And for the most surprising read was, drumroll, Bride by Ali Hazelwood, because I'm not really a romance girly, but I really like this one. I was in a spooky mood all year but only read a few horror books. Any recommendations? Drop them in the comments. I have not read any classics until this year, so that was new. 23 of the books I have read were from series, while 17 were standalone books. And finally, Praying for the Repose of These 3 Souls, 3 books DNF this year. That was so much fun to do. I don't usually like graphs and pie charts, but I like how my stats page turned out. So if you have a 2024 stats page, link your photo in the comments. I'd love to see. And finally, just sticking the rest of the book cover photos on the last page because why not? I don't know why, but I forgot to include my favorites this year: The Empire of the Vampire, The Empire of the Damned, Powerless and Reckless. Of all the things to forget, facepalm emoji here. Let's do a final flip through of my 2024 reading journal spreads. I had so much fun doing these pages and I'm feeling sentimental because it feels like I'm saying goodbye to a good friend. But here is my 2025 reading journal, continuing the witchy academia vibes in a craft notebook. I will link all the related videos in the description. And if you've made it this far, comment your top 3 books from 2024. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.